The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And we have a lot to get to. The number to reach me right now, 800-848-9222. Special election in New Jersey to fill the congressional seat of Governor Mikey Sherrill, progressive Democrat expected to win, Republican candidate running as well. Folks, get out and vote. If you don't vote, the progressive Democrat is going to win. And then don't call me for the next couple of months complaining. Today, if you're in that congressional district, today is your day to be heard. So we were going to spend the time focusing on the boo-hoo apology from the mayor's wife for her horrible social media past. I was a young girl, a teenager, when she was using the N-word and against Israel and pumping pro-Palestinian stuff, horrible things, praising basically October 7th. The mayor's trying to roll her out now for an official duty. They think that we are so stupid. But instead, I'm leading with something that's very sensitive, and it has everything that the media loves. 2 white cops and a black man. And these days, what that means is that the white cops are going to be lynched. A very disturbing situation out of Brooklyn, New York. And Mamdani, it's time for you to be a leader. It's time for you to be the mayor. Remember when the cops were pelted with the snowballs? He said it looked like a snowball fight amongst young people. Remember that? Now we have an incident, very disturbing, involving 2 white detectives and a black man, and Mamdani immediately states the violence used by NYPD officers in this video is extremely disturbing and unacceptable. Officers should never treat a person this way. So the Detectives Endowment Association, of course, is backing the officers, as they should do. And I am very, very pro-law enforcement. And in this situation, the officers should be given the benefit of the doubt. The officers involved should be given the benefit of the doubt. The video is hard to watch. It's very hard to watch. I've posted it on my Twitter, on my X. I've posted it on my Facebook. It's 7 minutes long. Here's the problem with the video. So what happens is we see these officers viciously punching, at least one of them, a black man in the face. And the man is basically, he can't defend himself. They're in a liquor store in Brooklyn. This happened apparently this week. They're part of the narcotics team. Now remember, they're putting their life on the line. They're going into a situation. They don't know what they're dealing with. And so there are some reports that say it was the wrong man. It was a buy and bust. And the description went out for the clothes that the man had on. And apparently the man was startled. And it's horrible because at some point he says to the officers, I work security. I have the security papers in my pocket. But this is why you must always comply with the police. And here's why I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. These 2 cops have been stripped of their badges and their guns. You know what that means. And once the mayor speaks out, essentially that means internal affairs, go get them. The police commissioner has denounced the incident as well. Now, what's very troubling about this, right? And just bear with me, folks. I've never seen a situation where police officers don't have radios. And this was very critical at this point. So they're trying to handcuff the man, doing what they've got to. Once you resist arrest, they have got to get you in handcuffs. Training comes into play, but almost by any means necessary. They have got to get you into handcuffs for your safety, for their safety, for the public safety. So he doesn't know what's going on, the man. And apparently he's resisting. You're about to hear for yourself where the officers tell him repeatedly, stop resisting. At some point after being punched viciously in the face by one of the officers, he's on the ground and he's bleeding profusely from his leg. And they're trying to get him medical attention. And community members, you don't help. They're standing in the background, yelling, screaming, calling these cops pigs, all types of things, right? Women in the background videotaping. And this man is bleeding out from his leg. And they're trying to get him medical attention. You're going to hear this, the entire thing right now. The video is much more compelling. And they're trying to get him medical attention. And I've never seen police officers forced to use their cell phones. And the second clip you're going to hear the officer say in frustration, I've had it with this What's Up app. So we have NYPD officers in a very critical situation that were forced to use What's Up app. That's what they had to use. So they're trying to you're going to hear them use the language of, we need a bus, ASAP. The man's bleeding out from his leg and they're still trying to cuff him. And you got community members agitating the situation. It is a disaster. They don't have backup. The community's getting upset. This is in Brooklyn, and it is a recipe for a disaster. And so they're saying over and over and over what you hear them saying, I can't get out on my cell phone. And they're calling for medical attention, immediate medical attention. So this is the exchange. And I want you to do me a favor. I want you to listen carefully to what you're about to hear. There's a lot of ambient noise. And the number to reach me on this issue, we'll get to other issues a bit later, 800-848-9222. This is the first encounter. Now, here's why I'm still giving the officers the benefit of the doubt. The video starts where you see them in the liquor store trying to cuff the man, and he's trying to just pull away from them, and it gets brutal. And so we don't know what happened prior to that. Okay? And fairness to these officers. You have two white cops and a black man. These days, that means that these white cops are going to be hung. The mayor has already denounced this of New York City. I want you to listen to, it's 2 minutes. Listen to this exchange.
All right. Why are you punching him? Why are you punching him? Y'all some ass motherfucker pig. Y'all fucking. I'm recording you guys, you Roll over. All right, roll over. I'm gonna roll over, Pop. I don't got nothing. Roll over. Roll over. Y'all, what's your bag? What's your bag number? What's your bag number? Why are you punching him like that? Roll over. Yo. He's punching. Give me your hand. Give me your hand. Give me your hand. All right, Pop. All right. Get on the phone, folks. Get on the phone. Oh my gosh. Yo, he's violated. Get on the phone. Y'all violated, punching that man for no reason. I got it all on there. Can't resist arrest. He wasn't resisting arrest. He was not resisting arrest. I got you, homie. I got you. Yeah. You want to get arrested next? I recorded it. Hey, you do that, so trust me. You put your hands on, you're going to get in trouble. You can feel the response. And I have every right to talk. Bro, it's not me. Okay, why people? I got a license. I got a security license in my pocket. I'm coming to work. I swear to God. Listen. I just got there. Listen, you got to let go. My lady's in the house. You got to ask for a bus. You got a lower lady. Yes, I know. Oh, my God. Ask for the bus, though. Get on the radio. No, my leg is. Put your hand behind your back. All right. And we can get you medical attention. Okay, behind your back. Okay. Put your hands behind your back.
Stay calm, Pablo.
The situation is escalating by the second. You hear the man say, I have a security license. I just came from work. So apparently the police got the wrong guy. Apparently. That's the way it appears as of right now. These two officers, again, they are on desk duty. Their badges have been taken from them and their guns. Sometimes that's what occurs, but by all indications, these guys are going to be hung. And the mayor who referred to that incident, Mamdani needs to be ashamed of himself. When it was the kids throwing snowballs at the cops, it was just a youthful incident. Now the mayor comes out immediately, and now the police commissioner has denounced this as well. But the mayor comes out and says the violence used by NYPD officers in this video is extremely disturbing and unacceptable. Officers should never treat a person this way. The video is horrible, but I am still giving these officers the benefit of the doubt. I can't judge them. I can't walk a mile in the shoes of hero NYPD officers when I'm not out there in the scene. I'm not out there plain clothes, two white officers in a predominantly all black community. And as you hear in the exchange, everybody's ganging up on the cops. And they have got to get cuffs on this man. For his safety, for their safety, it takes 1 second to pull out a knife and stab an officer or stab someone. For the public's safety. So we see your telephone calls on this, and we're going to get to them. We had planned on spending the entire hour talking about the half apology. Oh, I'm so sorry from Mamdani's wife. You know, she's now the first lady of New York City. And she apologizes, but she doesn't back up from her hatred of Israel or her full support of Palestinian causes. The Mamdanis, they think they're so slick. They think that we're so stupid. So we're going to take a break. But when we come back, you're going to hear part two, where community members are ganging up on these officers, and all they've got are their cell phones, no backup, and a very hostile situation. We're coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And we are back. We're going to let you hear part two of the video of this incident that occurred in Brooklyn, New York this week. A man in a liquor store, apparently he does some type of security work. He happens to be African American. He's in the store. Police are there from Brooklyn Narcotics, plainclothes. And apparently there was a buy and bust, and a description went out describing the clothing of the suspect. And the officers thought that this man was him. And the video is brutal. It is extremely brutal. But I stand with the NYPD, especially in this case. And here's why. I'm only seeing the part of the video where the officers get violent. You hear them say repeatedly, stop resisting, stop resisting. When they have decided, and Pat Lynch, the former head of the PBA, taught me this, that arrests can be very ugly. When they have decided that you're going to be arrested, there is nothing that you can do. At that point, your battle is to take it up with the judge. So I was so startled by the video before leaving for work. I made my son sit down and watch it with me. And I said, son, this is why you never, ever resist a police officer. Because at the end of the day, once they've decided to make that arrest, those cuffs are going on you one way or the other, by hook or crook. And, you know, this man apparently, if he wasn't involved, you know, he didn't know what he do wrong. They throw him into glass. Someone could have died. The freezer, the cooler for the summer drinks or whatever. And at that point, we see one officer punch him in the face like 6 times, while the other officer has him trying to get control. I'm not going to judge these officers. I wasn't in their shoes. What I am going to judge is Mamdani. How dare you speak out and condemn these officers. But when it comes to the snowball incident, it was a bunch of kids throwing snowballs. I don't think so, Mom Donnie. Let's go to Peter, line 1, Long Island. Peter, what's on your mind?
Hey, Dominic, I always enjoy listening to you. You're so much fun and truthful to top it all off, unlike a lot of the commentators on the radio. I think maybe Pat Lynch should just consider start organizing a complete strike against the city of New York. With the
Lynch is retired now, but you're talking about the new president. But okay, go ahead.
President, yes, you're right. You're the new president. I think that's got to be in the works, not necessarily doing it on this particular occasion, but a person who operates security should already know the rules of the road. You know,
right, he should. But Peter, what if he was startled? He sees.
He's startled,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
It doesn't matter whether he's startled. Well, you're talking about two white cops in an African American neighborhood. They're going to roll this guy.
I didn't want to say it, but you're correct. You can see them coming a mile away. You know who they are.
My cousin was a detective in Washington, D.C., and his partner was black in Anacostia. And you see a black guy and a white guy in the 70s and Anacostia, and it's a salt and pepper team. Okay?
I hear you, and you are correct. Thank you so much for the call. Let's go to John, line 3, Long Island. John, what's on your mind?
Hey, Dominic, I want to talk about the incident with the cops.
Go ahead, please. Don't tell me. Just go ahead, because I got to take a break in 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Okay, nobody ever takes the side of the cops. They're yelling, don't hit him, but they never tell it to the guy, like, don't resist. That doesn't make any sense.
You're about to hear in a few seconds, John. Thank you for the great call. You're about to hear what community members are telling him, please don't resist. But it's going to get ugly. The audio you're about to hear of the video where community members are calling them pigs. They have to threaten to arrest community members. And these two cops are there by themselves, and all they have are their cell phones. What happened to the radios? We're coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show. Entertaining and informative. On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And an incident that has everything the media loves. 2 white cops and a black man. And the video is awful, but I am still giving these officers the benefit of the doubt. I haven't walked a day in their shoes. I don't know what it's like. I'm only looking at part of the video. The video that's online is accurately very bad, right? But we only see it at the point where the officers get physical. We don't know if they indeed said, sir, you're under arrest. I'm sure they did, right? They're part of Brooklyn Narcotics, basically buy and bust type operation. I want to know this WhatsApp. You've got these cops out there and all they have is a cell phone for backup, for medical attention. You're about to hear. So, this man, apparently they had the wrong man. He's black. And Mamdani needs to be ashamed of himself because you're condemning these officers. You're the mayor. You're not a wannabe rapper, Mamdani. If you condemn these officers, Internal Affairs is going to do them in. They've already been stripped of their guns, their badges. They're on desk duty. You can't come out and prejudge Mamdani. It's funny. You didn't judge your wife when it came to her anti-Semitic social media. Your answer then was she's a private citizen. But you're so quick to act when it involves police officers who happen to be white. Why is that, Mamdani? Stop playing the race card because you're going to get people killed. And I want to say this right now, frankly, folks, I'm going back to your telephone calls, to members of the minority communities. I beg of you, if an officer tells you you're under arrest, the time for talking is over. No attitude, no drama. The best thing you can do is let yourself be handcuffed. You live to fight another day. I don't know what happened in this situation in Brooklyn. I wasn't there. That video is awful. But this WhatsApp, you got two white detectives in an all-black community, and they can't get back up because all they have are their cell phones, and the community is getting angrier and angrier and angrier by the second. You have women that are stuck in the liquor store that can't get out. They're witnessing all of this. They're calling the cops pigs and everything but a child of God. And you have a group of this building of black men outside that are becoming agitated. And you've got this black man on the ground bleeding profusely from the leg. And the cops are trying to get him medical attention, but they can't get the cuffs on. And you're about to hear them say, we need a bus forthwith. We need a bus ASAP. I want you to listen carefully to this audio. I cannot believe we've got undercover narcotics officers out there with no radio. And because normally the way this works, and I don't think I'm giving away anything, the way this normally works is you have the undercover go in, but you have the undercover's partner that's right outside. They're monitoring them, and they'll say red or whatever the word is, the warning, which means get in here immediately. I'm in serious trouble, right? These two cops are stuck. They can't handcuff this man, and it's becoming more and more volatile by the second. So at this point, you're going to hear where he says to the woman that has his phone, apparently, please call my mother, call my mother. And he's bleeding profusely. The cops are trying to get him medical attention while they're dealing with an angry crowd all the way around them. And all they have are their cell phones. Take a listen.
Yes, call my mom.
I'm calling the ambulance. I'm calling the ambulance.
Call my mom, man. Unbelievable. Call me. I am.
Yeah,
What you gonna do, Mike?
There's a liquor store.
Stop playing around.
They this guy up really bad for no reason.
There's a reason. You don't resist arrest.
He was
What
not
happened?
resisting arrest. This guy was not even resisting arrest, and they him up for no reason. I watched the whole thing. I have the whole thing on video. They up this black man. These two white cops.
All right, shut up!
You don't talk to us like that.
Shut up!
We have every right to speak.
Just shut up.
No, you're frustrated, and that's why you want us to shut up. Don't
I want you to
speak
shut up
like
because
that.
you're annoying.
No, you're annoying.
Why don't you get a job?
I do. Won't you get one better?
Stay back.
Badge number is 5056. 5058. Hold on. Let me get his badge number. Wait.
Just relax. We're going to get you an ambulance.
Yo, where the are these guys? Tell them to
Yes, hello. Did you bring the ambulance?
Get on the radio and ask for a
I'll
bus.
take a boy ASAP.
Ask for a bus.
5058 is the badge number. I can't move from the location because I'm trapped inside. They won't let me leave.
You're right. This is an active arrest. You got to stay here.
I'll take a boy ASAP.
Sir, what's your badge number? What's your badge number?
1032.
1032. And what's your name?
Detective Algerio.
And what's your name?
My name is Shut Up. I'm trying to make a call right now because the guy's
I'm gonna
bleeding
report
out.
you to the officer. I'm gonna report you. I'm gonna report you.
You got my ID?
I'm gonna report you.
Where's the P-Van?
You want to get your phone and stuff?
I got his phone.
My wallet and stuff. You got to get his phone.
I don't care what
My
you
wallet.
want. Stay there.
Why would the NYPD put these undercover drug detectives in that situation? Did you hear the officer say, my name is Shut Up? Basically, shut up. I'm trying to get this guy medical attention. He's bleeding out. What would have happened? Two white cops, black man, if that man died on the floor right there. You've got angry women on one side of the cops. You've got a lot of black men standing right outside the store. They're becoming agitated by the second. And there's no backup for these officers. All they have is their cell phone. And the cell phone, as we all know, doesn't work all the time. They're trying to get him medical attention. He's bleeding out on the floor from his leg, the suspect. They finally got him handcuffed. And they're using WhatsApp detectives to get help. So now it could have quickly escalated. What if the black men standing outside decided to come in? Now the officers have got to pull their guns. They have been placed on modified assignment. Mamdani has already hung them in terms of condemning them, and it's just not right. We see the video at the point of escalation. We don't see the video to know exactly what happened. This comes on top of the sergeant, a week ago, who's in jail right now, drug suspect. Now, I'm not saying that this man that they arrested at the point did something wrong. I don't know. But I can tell you this. You might as well get at least $5 million of taxpayer dollars and just settle the suit right now. That's how bad the video is of him being punched in the face repeatedly. And the point is, if you just don't resist, none of this had to go down this way. So let's see. I'm opening up my phone. Okay, I see here Hermit Sal. He's talking about Mamdani's wife and her boo-hoo apology for her tweets. Hermit Sal says, Dominic, since Mrs. Mamdani used the "I was a young girl" excuse to basically get away with her callous remarks, I was wondering if I could use that young girl excuse if I were to say callous and careless remarks. As it relates to what we're talking about right now, the incident in Brooklyn, New York, Liz Rosenblatt says there's just no respect for the blue anymore. He shouldn't have resisted. If we just try to communicate and respect more and show kindness, the world would be different. I don't ever remember disrespect of our police back in the day. They're just trying to do their job. And so that's just some of the comments. I can see Jimmy Fontanez says he's with the NYPD. Debbie Lebedo says the cops are on high alert. They are defunded and not defended. They do not know who they're dealing with in the streets of an open border policies in sanctuary cities. All correct. Let's go to Louis, line 1, Staten Island. Louis, what's on your mind?
Hey, Dominic, how you doing? First time calling here.
Good.
I'm a retired police detective. I had 22 years on the job, worked in all plainclothes units my whole career. And everybody keeps saying how bad this video is. It's not that bad. It looks bad to the average person, but these cops use physical force, punching. They didn't choke him. They didn't put pressure on his chest.
That's true. They did not choke him. That's true.
They changed the laws. They made it impossible for cops to use certain types of force that used to work. Now they have to use the minimal amount of force. So in the street, punching is basically the minimal amount of force. The fact that a bottle broke and this guy got cut, where's the beginning of this video where they first approached this guy? Where's that video? Right away, everybody, this is Mamdani's dream.
It is.
This video out there right now, this is his dream. Because now he can use that to vilify the police, which he's going to do. And the fact that everybody turned against the cops is going to make these poor guys don't stand a chance. Okay? And I've been in situations like this, and I feel horrible for these guys. But it's just, you can't do police work anymore.
In your opinion, Louis, and I hope they don't lose their jobs. I think it's horrible what Mamdani.
The least of their problems, I think, Dominic.
Really?
Right now, the way Mamdani and the district attorneys and all these people work today, it's impossible to do police work.
So wait a minute, you're telling me they may be looking at criminal charges simply for punching?
They could charge him with assault 3, absolutely. Official misconduct. They could try to do anything. I mean, we've seen things. We've seen things like this escalate with the district attorney's office. I mean, I hope to God they don't do it, but it's possible. It's possible.
So, Louis, help me with this. I am begging members of the minority communities to stop resisting arrest, because I blame Democrats for this. Because Democrats, they go and brainwash people and tell them, F the police. You can do what you want to do. They violated your civil rights. All of that nonsense, all that garbage sounds good. When it goes down at that moment, it's you versus them. And those officers are going to get you in handcuffs one way or the other. Why do you think community members resist arrest?
I'll tell you exactly what it is. Years ago, believe it or not, and people would say, people feared the police. So when you fear somebody, and I'm not saying it's the good thing to fear the police. We don't want to be feared. But that little aspect of fear that we used to have, it gave us that ability to do our job easier. Oh, here come the cops. Even when we were growing up, you saw the cops. You never disrespected the cops. If they told you to do something, you did it. Get off the corner. I'm getting off the corner. Go here. Go. It worked. You didn't have. Now, all of a sudden, in this new world with cameras and anti-police rhetoric and all this stuff, people feel like they're emboldened just to do what they want. So that fear aspect of the police is gone. So now what people do is they fight back. They talk back. They don't follow laws. They don't follow the rules. There is no rules. So now it's basically the cops have to move right. They have to move right into the physical aspect of it because they don't know if this guy has a gun. They don't know what this guy's about. Or a knife. And if you're going to engage him, we used to engage in conversation. Listen, put your hands behind your back. And most of the time, I've taken guns off of hundreds of guns off the street. And 90% of the time, there was no physical altercation. And this is going back in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s. Okay? And I'm telling you that people are emboldened now because they know nothing's going to happen to them. You get locked up with a gun, you're going to be released. You're going to fight with the cops, you're going to be released. So why wouldn't you fight? Why wouldn't you resist? And then not only that, then you got a lawsuit. This guy, like you just said a few minutes ago, $5 million. That's what you don't think he's thinking that while he's laying on the floor? You don't think the
city's going, Louis, they're going to be forced to settle this one. That's how bad the video is. But like you said, I really respect and honor you, man, for being on the job. I just don't get it. We have to respect the police. And if they tell you you're under arrest, you're going. It's not debatable at that point. There's nothing else to talk about. Why don't people understand that, Louis?
Fear, Dominic. There is no fear anymore. People do not fear the police. And like people say, oh, we don't want to fear we want the police to respect us. Yes, the police will respect you, but they have a job to do. And that little aspect of fear that we used to have, that were instilled in us by our parents, by our teachers, respect the police. If you see the police, you do what they say. That's gone. That's gone. Police are the enemy. They see the police as the enemy on the street now. And not only that, they feel like they don't have to obey them. They could do whatever they want, even if they break the law. This guy didn't know what they were handcuffing him for. He could have very easily put his hands behind his back, said, "What did I do?" And they would have released him once they got. And the other thing is real quick. I know you got to go. The other thing is real quick. The reduction in manpower. When they did buy and bust, there used to be teams of guys out there. There would be what's called a P-van. All right, there'd be a van that holds the prisoners. There'd be an arrest team. There'd be more than two guys without their radios coming in to make an arrest. Okay, so the whole situation in this city is a disaster, and it's only going to get worse. And I don't see why. I hate to say it, and I was very active. I hate to say it, but these guys are crazy that are being proactive out there now.
Yeah, I feel you, Louis. I'm late for a break. Thank you for the call. Please don't be a stranger. I want to hear from you again to understand the aspect of actually being out there doing the job. These heroes, these men and women, especially doing this undercover work where the community doesn't appreciate it. You should be saying thank you. Time for a break. We're coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And now for the Tunnel to Towers Foundation final thoughts of the day.
Yes, call my mom.
I'm calling the ambulance.
Call my mom's, man. Unbelievable. Call me. I am.
Yes,
what are you gonna do, Mike?
There's a liquor store.
I'm playing around.
This guy up really bad for no reason.
There's a reason. You don't resist arrest. Look what happened.
He was not resisting arrest. This guy was not even resisting arrest, and they him up for no reason. I watched the whole thing. I have the whole thing on video. They up this black man, these two white cops.
So that says it all. That says it all of what you need to hear, because that's the only thing that's going to go out to communities of color. Two white cops and a black man. Right? When the message that should go out is, please do not resist arrest. When the police decide that you're going in, believe me, you're going in one way or the other. Either the easy way or the hard way, because if those two cops can't get you handcuffed, and if they have a radio, they're going to put out a 1013. And here comes more cops. And you're going one way or the other. And so the man was bleeding profusely from his leg. He had been punched several times by the cops in the face. I'm not going to judge those cops. And I think it's disgusting what Mamdani did. I'm not judging them because I haven't seen the beginning of the video. They could have walked up to him and said, sir, excuse me, we noticed you a buy and bust operation. You're under arrest. Now, apparently they may have had the wrong guy. I don't know. But they've been stripped of their guns, stripped of their badges. And under this mayor, you know what that means. Let's go to line 3, Robert in Brooklyn. What's on your mind, Robert?
It's the same old diatribe, Dominic. The same old diatribe with these people. You know, they come down on the cops. Just put your hands behind your back. Very simple. A very simple concept. Put your hands. You know how many times I caught beatings because I resisted the cops when I was a kid?
Robert, you got to remember, Democrats, elected officials are telling them you don't have to listen to the police. They violated your rights for centuries. Stand up to the police. They're brainwashing these poor people. And they believe the nonsense, and they're the ones that's being under attack, because when the officers decide you're under arrest, it's a wrap. Go ahead, Robert, before I move on.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, Robert, thank you very much. Let's go to Rabbi Eli, New Jersey. He wants to talk about Mamdani's wife. Go right ahead, sir.
Yeah, well, she's claiming that she's off the hook because she was a teenager. Well, that didn't work for Brett Kavanaugh. He was accused of a tall tale when he was a teenager, but something that supposedly happened when he was a teenager. And look what the liberals did to him. And look what the liberals did to, I remember some years ago, there was a candidate for the Senate in Delaware. She was doing very well, and then they decided to ruin her candidacy because she was.
I don't need the history lesson right now. You don't believe her apology?
I think that it's very hypocritical of her and the liberals who support her and support Mamdani.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you for the call. Folks, on America's darkest day, 9/11, America vowed to never forget. Help our nation keep that promise. Donate $11 a month and amplify your impact with a car or land donation. Go to T2T.org. That's T2T.org. I'm back live at midnight.
Thanks for listening to The Dominic Carter Show. You can hear The Dominic Carter Show weekdays at 3 p.m. and Monday through Thursday at midnight and Sunday starting at 11 p.m. on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?